Hey guys, welcome back to week 12 of my FTMO challenge. Now, I'm going to cut straight to the chase. I'm up 0.5% this week from 2 trades, both technically losers. Now, hear me out when I say this. The first one was early in the week. I think I was a little bit hot-headed to jump onto the markets at early hours, wanted basically just put on a trade as soon as possible, really. I took the trade, went for a loss, and after I took the trade, I realized I think I was forcing structure a little bit. And what I mean by that is the pattern exactly wasn't completely clear, and I sort of forced it in my bias to try give myself a reason to take a short. I shouldn't have done that. There was a sell later in the day, which I could have technically taken, but at that point, I was well aware that I was trying to force structure, so I ignored it as it also wasn't 100% clear for me. The second trade I took, I split into 2 positions. First, I got out manually. I took it out as it was halfway to my take profit. Now, the reason I did this is because of other structure I was seeing and also a lot of PMI news in the early hours for the euro, which is about 8 a.m. my time and UK time. But yeah, up 0.5% on the total week. Now, one thing I've noticed in my trading after these past 2 weeks now, so there was 1 week, I believe it was week 10 on the challenge. I could be wrong, but I took 2 losses trying to buy EU when it was clearly slowing down and I should have been looking for sells. This was during the time I was doing my day in the life vlog, and I even mentioned in the vlog that I should have been selling the market. I should have been. It was very clear even at the time, but I completely ignored it. And since that moment, I've made a promise to myself to not take trades like that anymore. I've changed quite a few rules in these 12-week process that I've been going through, and I hope you'll be able to see the progression I'm making from the first week I started documenting this to now, as I believe I'm in a much better place psychologically in terms of executing, taking the correct trades, the right setups, and also being comfortable taking the loss and accepting the risk I am basically taking when it comes to trading. That is a big part I think people can't do in trading, is truly think and accept that probabilities is truly what moves the market, and you have to accept you do not know where the market is going to go next, but you don't need to know where the market is going to go next in order to make money. Now that's what it really comes down to. I've still been making money these past 2 weeks. I'm up almost 2% these past 2 weeks, which isn't the biggest, but on a 200k account that is $4,000 which is quite a hefty amount of money. But obviously I need to get that to that 10% mark to pass phase 1, and I'm sure before you know it, I will be there, and I'll be showing to you all out there who are struggling traders that it is possible to overcome hurdles like this and really make yourself profitable. Let's head straight over to the FTMO dashboard now. So as you can see, recent weeks have been spiking up, going down a little bit, spiking up, down a little bit, spike up. Now that is good. Now these losses aren't the best. I'm obviously still ironing out some of the creases I'm having in my trading system, but as you can see, I'm comfortably sitting at 3% up on the FTMO account. Now that is not bad at all. What else stats can I give you? So yeah, here they are, the 2 trades I took this week. The one was 22nd of October, which I believe was quite early in the week. It was, yeah, the Tuesday I took it. You can't see, I've got the calendar up on my screen right now. It's not showing up on for you, but yeah, 22nd is the Tuesday, and the other trade, 24th of October, that was the Thursday. So the Thursday was the PMI news. I don't believe we had any news on the Tuesday, but I sort of wanted to get in the market, and I'll discuss what structure I was forcing and actually why I really shouldn't have taken it. So yeah, up 3%, not bad at all, and I'm sure before you know it, I'll be at that 10% mark, passing phase 1. So here we are on the chart EURUSD. We're currently on the daily. I'm going to show you what I'm currently biased for on the daily time frame. Now this is currently the bias I'm looking at for more downside. This is what I'm looking at, like so. So I think this is going to come all the way down to break this last low at least one more time before we see any up move. Now, obviously, this is the daily time frame, and obviously, I can definitely be wrong. I'm not saying I am a successful trader at all, but this is my bias, and this is a long distance to go in the market. So even though temporarily I'll be looking for buys on the lower time frame, on the 15-minute time frame, that is very short term, and it's very important I keep myself in line with what the bigger picture is and really what I'm looking for. So let's go down to the 4 hour here, and we have this sharp move down, breaking this last low. Now, after we got this break, we got quite a bit of buying pressure. on Euro US dollar. Now, this buying pressure was sort of expected. I mentioned this in my last week video. It was sort of expected, but this I'm not expecting to last very long. It may give us some sort of move like so, maybe lasting a week or so, and then I am expecting one more drop, maybe even at the US elections. This could come in. Obviously, this is going to all change, and we have to see what the market gives us. Obviously, if it's not playing out like I'm saying it might, then we change the bias and we do not stick to what I originally said. If it keeps moving up sharply like this, then the bias does change and we react to it accordingly. So on the 15-minute time frame, these are the two trades I took. The shorts I took. Both shorts, up 0.5%. The reason I took this first one, this wasn't a good trade to take. Looking back at it, it wasn't good, but it wasn't the worst either. Now, the actual sell setup for the day was here on this candle here. The stop loss would have been above this top. Take profit below this last low. 5.4 to 1. Okay, this would have been a great trade to take. I saw it, didn't take it. The reason I didn't take it at this point in time, I believe I was forcing structure too much. It was 9:15 in the morning UK time, and the original structure that I was seeing was something like so. So this may not be very clear to anyone who doesn't understand the WeTrade wave system, but this is my 3-wave structure that I'm looking at here. There was a sell setup at the top. As you can see, it actually moved a fair amount into my area that I was looking to go. It went all the way 1.4% in profit, or 1.4R should I say, not percent, because I only rest 0.5%, and I went all the way back and took me out for a loss. The reason I didn't move to break even is because, as you guys know, I don't move to break even unless the last low is taken, and I've closed 70% of my position. Now, the second trade I took was over here. This one was Thursday morning at 6 a.m. and I took this trade. 6 a.m. is quite early to be taking trades. It's just before the UK Open, or London Open, should I say. But I am up since basically 4 or 5 a.m. So I've been looking at the charts all morning. I was expecting some sort of slow correction to drop one more and break this last low, but it didn't happen. Now, the reason for that, the structure I was initially seeing with this sell was going to be this like so. Now, as you can tell, if you're in the WeTrade community, you know this, that this structure here isn't very optimal and it's not the clearest, but it still technically can be this flat. And it gave me an entry here, stop loss above the top. It went all the way 5.9R into my trade before it reversed against me. My target was 8.7 to 1, and I didn't get to that. Reason being, so as you can see, this red candle at first, this first 50-minute red candle was PMI for the French. Okay, 8:15 PMI France. This dropped the market. I got out, I manually closed 70% of my position around about this mark, somewhere around this region. I can't be very specific, but I took 70% off around this mark, made 1% on that trade by taking 70% off, and then moved my second trade to break even like so. So I had 30% still running on break even, and I was out the market essentially. The reason for this is because I could also see, instead of this structure I initially drew, I then could instead see some sort of structure like this forming, which would then make this my move to the upside instead. I could see it very clearly going against me because of how slow this move is up here. So that is why I got out early, and I think I managed it fairly well. This came out, took me out break even, not a problem, up 0.5%. Throughout the week, I did try get some other buy setups, because after it did this and broke this top, I was looking for buys. Now, the buy setup this morning actually, this closed at 8:15, this candle, and the structure I was looking at here was something like so, and this structure was fairly clear to me, and it gave a buy setup actually quite right here. But the issue I had of it, I have a minimum risk to reward of 1 to 2. That's my minimum, right? And this gave a 1.47. So I didn't take the trade. If this candle would have been lower, around about here, and it closed around about there, I would have taken the trade. That would have been another win for the week, but it didn't. I followed my plan. That's completely okay. Now, like I said earlier in the video, I'm expecting these videos to get more and more boring for you. Now, that may sound quite negative, but it's actually good. Well, it's good for me at least, because trading should be boring. It should be very repetitive in your actions and what you're doing on the markets. It shouldn't be fluctuating a lot, and you shouldn't be changing what you're looking for day to day and trying to find the holy grail of setups and things like that. I'm going to the markets in Euro US dollar every single week and every single day, thinking exactly the same and looking for exactly the same things time and time again. And it should be repetitive and boring. That is trading. It should be. And I think it's good that my mind is finally getting into that place where I am calm and collected about looking at the markets and clearly what my bias is and what I'm looking for in order to get in the market. Now, guys, if you're still watching this point, thank you very much for sticking around, first of all. But I just wanted to give you a heads up, next weekend there will not be a FTMO challenge week update video. The reason for that, I'll be going to see my family for a week period of time. I'm actually going to Tully's farm down south in the UK, which is like a Shocktober sort of thing, so it's like horror, and that'll be good fun. So I'm going to be away for that weekend and that week, so you'll get an update following that. And one thing I actually want to mention to you, I'm going to make a post about this, but I very much enjoyed making a day in the life vlog like a few weeks back, and I'm curious if you guys would prefer format more like that than format like this, which is more direct basically. So would you prefer more indirect videos, more entertaining, much more about my day-to-day life and about the charts rather than just purely the charts? Let me know down below. I will have a better camera and microphone to be doing that if that is the case, as I want the quality to be as best as it can be for you. Thank you so much for watching and following my journey. I very much appreciate all the support you guys give me every single day. Like the video if you liked it, dislike if you dislike it, it's not a problem at all. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll speak to you very, very soon.